political or election angle to it, Navika. Unfortunately, it is clearly an open and shut case. And I'll tell you why. You see, before this, all liquor in Delhi was controlled by the government. Did that lead to black marketing like all government controls do? Of course it did. But what did the AAP introduce? I think a lot of people don't understand what the policy became, right? There was open bidding invited for about 800 plus vends within Delhi. Delhi was divided into 32 zones. And then each zone had about 27 different vendors allowed in it. The problem comes about A, in the auctioning, and B, in the massive losses of revenue that happened, because what was happening was everybody knew, and we pointed this out. A lot of us pointed this out, that when the document was put out, there was a good way of doing this, which was not to divide it into zones, not to limit the number of vendors, because when you divide zones and create vendors, you're creating artificial scarcity, which then facilitates backdoor corruption. You want to become one of the 27 vendees within the 32, you are forced to pay bribes in order to get it. We all know this is exactly how artificial scarcity works in India. It was an open and shut case. Within 24 hours of that document coming out, everybody knew it was an open and shut case. Right? Now, let us talk about this case very, very specifically. Is there, I think the AAP supporting gentleman made a point, which is that, there is no proof. I'm sorry, but there is proof. Correlation is not causation, but correlation is certainly a reason to investigate someone. I don't know if it merits arrest or not, but it is certainly enough to investigate. What has happened out here? A very clear chain of events has happened. There are several layers of corruption here. First is the corruption in the bids. Then is the corruption in the way those bids were awarded. The third is the corruption in the way the policy itself was formulated, which goes back to some foreign companies which we know are in trouble and are getting arrested at the moment. Number four, there is this specific scam that we're coming to, where Mr. Sanjay Singh apparently took one Mr. Grover, who is the approver, whatever, to a tour of restaurants, who then gave him 60 to 82 lakhs, depending on what happens.
Did you see that?
He organized.
Did you see that?
Was this
did
done?
You see that?
No,
did you see that?
I did not interrupt.
Producer ji, mera sound badhayega. Did you see that?
Navika, this is not fair.
No, this is
Navika, this is not fair. I didn't interrupt. Man, he doesn't get to interrupt me.
My friend Akashdeep Muni, my friend Akashdeep Muni, don't lose your shirt over something that is in the court of law. This is the charge sheet. Akashdeep Muni, calm down. This is mentioned in the charge sheet. He is not saying anything that is not documented. This is presented in the court of law. So far, the court has not said anything about this being a false document. So it is there. Calm down. Allow him to complete his point. There are documents that are in the court. They exist in the court. They are part of the case file. You will have to stop interrupting him. Akashdeep Muni, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, carry on.
So what ends up happening now is the police have a clear case, the ED have a clear case to prove. Does this particular correlation translate into causation? To date, I have not seen the clinching evidence which makes that conversion possible, but given the balance of facts, it might be, and given the way Indian courts function, you never know what translates into causation. Is it likely it happened? Yes. The problem is there is too much out here which is quite evidently corruption, which cumulatively translates into causation.
Well, so Ravi Srivastava.